Welcome to WarmKettle. Alright, this is just a short video in order to summarize all the points that you need to consider in order to brew a coffee. So let's get to them. Right, let's talk about the first point, which is tools. So if you would like to decide the result of your brewing process, you need to decide your tools first. For example, if you want to have a lighter coffee, you can use a dripper like this because it only needs a short amount of time and also a coarser grind of coffee. And if you want to have a medium and a complete flavorful coffee, you can use a traditional pour over. And if you want to have a stronger coffee with a bold texture, you can use something like this with a pressure and also tools that is needed like a finer size of grind size, like this, like a stovetop mocha pot. For the second point, it's actually about the grind size. So continuing the first point, we have this coffee beans, which is Ethiopian Guji, and from this coffee beans we can grind it into a different kind of grind size. This one is the coarse one, and this one is the fine one. So coarse grind actually tend to be heat resistant, and you also gonna need a higher temperature in order to extract all the flavors and aroma in the coffee beans. For example, you can use it for dripper like this. This is a traditional pour over dripper. Now we are talking about a finer size of the grind size. So this kind of grind size actually not really resistant to heat, but you only need a short amount of time to extract all the flavors and aroma in the coffee. You can use it, for example, for this stovetop mocha pot. So you only need a couple of minutes in order to extract all the flavors and aroma inside the beans, and also you're gonna need a finer size. Now we are talking about the third point, which is ratio. So in order to have a lighter or stronger coffee, you need to decide which one do you want more, the coffee or the water. So the first one, this one we have an 11 grams of coffee over here, and we have a 20 grams of coffee over here. We're going to show you an example of how can ratio affect the result of the brewing. So this is the example of the ratio. This one we are using 1/15 ratio. So this means 1 part of coffee and 15 part of water. And this one is a 1/8 ratio. So 1 part of coffee and 8 part of water. As you can see, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but actually this one with a smaller amount of coffee, you have a lighter color over here, and this one is with a much more amount of coffee, you have a darker color over here, which means you have a lighter taste of coffee in the 1/15 ratio, but in the 1/8 ratio, you have a stronger coffee. Now we are moving to the fourth point, which is water temperature. So after you decide your grind size and also the ratio of the coffee that you like, now it's time to decide the temperature of the water. You can choose between high or low temperature. High is considered above 90 degrees Celsius. If you are using imperial, you can convert it by yourself. And lower is considered above 90 degrees, so about 70 to 80 something Celsius. What are the effects? If you are using a higher temperature of water, you are going to have a faster extraction time, and also you need to be careful about the coffee being burned because of the high temperature. And if you are using a lower temperature, you can have a slower and more relaxed extraction, more natural. But you need to be careful about the coffee is underdeveloped. Underdeveloped meaning is you're not extracted the coffee beans completely. Now we are going to the fifth point, which is water velocity. So I'm going to show you an example of a water velocity. So this one is considered a low velocity. So the water is running smooth through the kettle. But if you increase the angle of the kettle, as you can see, we have a higher debit of water. So what are the effects of water velocity? If you are using a higher velocity or a higher debit of water, you're going to have a faster extraction time. But if you're using the lower velocity, you're going to have a slower extraction time. Now we are in the sixth point, the last point of the brewing points, but possibly this is the most important thing that you need to know, is the coffee bean characters itself. So we have, for example, I have a Robusta beans over here with a dark roast profile, and also I have an Arabica next to it with a light roast profile, medium to light. This is the thing that you cannot change in a brewing result. So you need to understand which coffee has a fuller body character and which coffee has a lighter character. And this Arabica also has quite a high acid level if you compare it to the Robusta, which is more bitter. So in order to decide what's the coffee you like after the brewing, you need to understand the coffee beans first, right? So those are 6 points of brewing that you need to know basically. The last thing to do is only to find a way to combine all of those points to make a perfect cup of coffee. So that would be all from us. If you have any comment or suggestions, please leave in the comment section below, and please subscribe to us for our latest video. See you. Thank you. Bye bye.